My name's Jonathan Wilkinson. I'm a painter and printmaker working from my home studio in Sheffield. You may have come across my work through the website We Live Here, which is my own sort of online store and gallery where I sell my own prints. That name, which kind of came from those dog stickers that you get that say I live here, and you have these kind of pictures of dogs in people's windows to either put burglars off. I'm not really sure what they're for, and I thought, well, I'll change that, and it might encompass quite a few things that I may or may not do, and I think luckily it has allowed for that. I came to study painting and printmaking in Sheffield in 1998, and I've been here ever since. And I would say the sort of mood and character of the city has kind of informed my practice and the way I work, and I think just down to the kind of freedom of being able to get on and do something off your own back. I think it's a very good city for that. The first piece that I ever produced was a picture of the cooling towers, which was more of a kind of just a sideline project, something that I was working on in my own time while I was working as a graphic designer. I think there was a fondness that I had for buildings that you call like Marmite buildings that people either love or they hate, like Park Hill or Roxy Disco as it was at the time. And I think I thought it would be nice to sort of try and produce something for someone's living room wall that you wouldn't normally see there. There was a kind of warmth and interest that came back, and people were, into what I was doing. So that kind of has been the main bent in my work that has then fed more into me being able to go into more kind of personal aspect of my surroundings, and either made up landscapes, made up kind of places that aren't in Sheffield, and other buildings that have more of a personal significance to me that are maybe more minor and people wouldn't necessarily recognise. People get so used to their surroundings that it's not until you sort of point out things and look at it in a different way, such as the Eiffel Tower or any kind of building. If people didn't reproduce images of it, it's somehow wouldn't be as important as it's perceived to be. And I think there's something interesting in taking something hyper local and very sort of unknown and unsung and blowing it up to a kind of potential of being important, and important enough to show on your living room walls. I've sort of kind of switched styles slightly in terms of how when I started doing the colour work, they start off as digital drawings in vector form, but they tend to come more from sketches and things that are planned out more on paper. You can work to a certain point on the computer, but I think if you're someone who has produced handmade objects, paintings, prints, things like that, that you're always kind of wanting to bring a bit of yourself back into that. There's quite a lot to and fro in between drawing on paper, drawing kind of maquettes as digital drawings, printing those out at the scale that you want to paint at to transfer line work onto the board. You put in like a hand-painted flat line. Close inspection, it's clearly not mechanically produced. You can see the brush strokes, but it kind of has to me, it has another layer of warmth. The main kind of thing that I need for my process is as many of the 35mm camera canisters as I can get my hands on, and unfortunately as things have moved over to digital, they're harder and harder to come by. So if anyone has a collection out there or knows of someone who maybe works in a developer's that throws these things away, all donations are welcome, because it's kind of quite an important part of my process, so that would be much appreciated.